So I just received an amazing download, and this is a thing I've been working on for a long time. I've been trying to figure out how God works and how past lives work for a long time, and it just came through. It makes sense now. Um, so the thing I've been trying to figure out is how is it possible that we have past lives and that there's this soul that has a soul's history with all of these past lives attached to them, even though when we're not in a physical body, we are going up into unity, right? So the way I see it, when you die, you become everything, you become part of the whole again. When you incarnate, that's when you sort of become a physical, like become an individual. So that doesn't make sense that we would have past lives, that we would be this soul with this history, that we sort of identify with this story of that which we are, that you are as an individual, when you're not here, you're actually not an individual, right? Because you go up into unity. Doesn't make sense. So, thing is, what I just discovered is your soul is this blueprint of who you are, this blueprint that shines its light, that expresses as your body. And your soul is made up of different pieces of God, different pieces of conscience. So when I say God, I should explain that. Um, as I understand it, God is that which we all are together. We all are together God. All pieces of consciousness, all souls, all that exists, all that is sentient or alive, all of consciousness together makes up God. So all the pieces of God, and when you have a couple of those pieces, they cooperate together to form a soul. Now, this is the same as your physical body, right? This thing that you call you, your physical body, you call that your physical body, and you've been calling it that for a long time. But 7 years ago, it was made up of completely different atoms and cells. All of the cells that were making up your body 7 years ago, they're dead now. Sorry. So, 7 years from now, again. So, 7 years from now, my entire body is going to be made up of different cells and different atoms that are cooperating together to create this whole functioning system that is my body. I still refer to it as my body, the same body, the same body that it has been for my life, right? But it has completely changed. It is a completely different set of pieces that are working together to create that which is my body that I call me. Now, the soul, the way I see it, the soul is the same. So the soul is this collection of all the different pieces of God that have decided to cooperate, right? It's a piece of consciousness. It decides to cooperate to create this whole being, this whole functioning whole, which is the blueprint that expresses to create your physical body. And basically this cooperation, just like your physical body, it can change. And usually this happens, we sort of, when we die, right? So when our physical body dies, all of the different pieces, they release, they become part of the soil again, they become part of the nature again. So they become part of the whole again, right? And in the same way, your soul, all of the pieces that have been cooperating to create the blueprint of this specific life, well, that specific life that has been lived by that soul, it's not going to be lived again, right? When you come back, if there is a you that comes back, it's not going to be living exactly the same blueprint. So this blueprint is going to dissolve as well when you die. All of the different pieces go back into all of unity, right? And out of all of unity, all of God, different pieces of consciousness are constantly deciding to come together, to work together to create a new blueprint, a new soul. And it might just be one of the pieces of the memory of the life that you've lived. Or of a memory, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I'm getting memories from past lives, it's not like I get the entirety of all the memories of all my life. I mean, I don't even have that of my life in this body. Like, I don't have all the memories. I mean, I wouldn't be able to access them or something. Like, I've forgotten a bunch of it. In the same way, you get a couple of memories from a particular life that has been lived. And this helps you to sort of remember a story, right? Because the thing is, when people remember past lives and there's not sort of this unity consciousness understanding, it's logical that what we conclude with our idea of identity, I mean, most people consider their body to be one thing when it's really a cooperation of a whole bunch of things. So if you come at it with that perspective of individuality, which is where most of us are when we are incarnated, right? You assume when you have a memory and the memory is so vivid, it feels like you have lived it. You have lived that life, right? It feels like that because you, the big you. And but you know, that big you, everything, all that we are, all that you are, we all together, which is, by the way, also a cooperation of different souls forming the whole everything. But so that is, I don't know where it was. Yes, so the past life memories, they when we remember those things, we feel as though you have lived it, but there is no you. And so what happens a lot of times, I see this, and this, I started doing this initially as well, you sort of start to identify with this story, which can be a victimhood story of this past life. I don't think you're supposed to identify with your past lives and sort of start making that part of your history as you, right? This identity that you are right now has lived in the past this traumatic story. The reason we have past life memories, the way I see it, is we have this story of a life that has been lived. That's what a past life is, a life that has been lived by God, by everything, by us, by you. A life that has been lived. And it's a story that helps you, that informs you, that can teach you lessons, that can help you to stimulate you to do healing work and trauma work, that can inform you about this and make you feel like the experiences you've had in your own life, you know, you're not the only one who's been hurting in that particular way. That's why you have this memory of another life that has been lived, because that helps us to sort of accept it more. So we have these past life memories not to identify with them, but to use them for healing. So basically, we die, we go into unity, and these different pieces, it's kind of like you're filling up your backpack, but there is no you yet, but maybe at some point there is, right? The different soul parts work together, pick up this bit, pick up that bit, you know, this memory from a life that's been lived, this memory from a life that's been lived. We pick up this quality called courage. We pick up this, you know, this plan to do that particular thing, and we choose what we want to experience. That is, the different pieces work together to create a beautiful life to be lived. And it's basically like within the collective field of consciousness, right? Within all the pieces of God, all the soul parts, there are some pieces that are wounded. They want to be loved, and this drives them to find ways to cooperate to create this blueprint, this soul that can express as a physical being in order to find healing so that those pieces of the collective can be healed. And so that's basically the process. Now, I've experienced a lot of this, but it all starts to make sense now. But I've experienced a lot of this by going through my shamanic death process, going through the rebirth process, and sort of dying to who I was, and spending a couple of years going through the process of being in between lives, where you're kind of dead, but you're still in the same body, and life is moving on, but you're just trying to recreate, a whole new vision for your life, doing the shadow work to get rid of all the old stuff and bringing in the new stuff that you want to bring in. And that's a process we can go through in between lives, which is really awesome. But we can also do it while we are alive, which is really, really awesome. But I don't know how to put all of that in this video right now. So, yeah. This is my theory on souls and how past lives work. I hope that was helpful or interesting, or crazy. And I'd love to hear what you think, what your ideas on this is, whether you maybe have been struggling with this idea of past lives as being part of your identity or being something that you identify with, or how is that possible with unity consciousness. Just, whatever it is, put it in the comments what your ideas on this are, and I'd love to hear from you. And I'd love to wish you a wonderful, wonderful day, and share more of what I downloaded when I figure it all out. So, more is coming. I love you. Have a lot of fun, and I'll see you in the next video.